So we're going to talk about and demonstrate how to make some assists for your squats. Many of these assists will work for many of the squats. The first one is if you're having a hard time sitting down into your bottom squat and sitting back, staying out of your knees. So if you're feeling like a lot of knee and you're feeling a lot of limited range, you can use a box squat. So a box squat is where you put an object, a level, a surface behind you, and then you reach back and sit down to gently touch it and then come back out. So in this case, he's using a chair. She's sitting down, squatting to the chair, and then standing back up. If she gets strong and more range for that chair, then she can drop her box to something lower. So here her box comes in the form of a 5-gallon bucket, and now she's sitting down nice and deep, almost to a parallel squat, much deeper than the partial squat to the chair above. And of course, you can go deeper still. At some point, you'll probably not need a box to squat to at all. The next modification would be using a strap or something to hold on to in front of you, something to hang from. So we're going to use a strap and a tree. Certainly you could just use the tree. The strap is nice, it gives you a little bit of space. Of course, if you like hugging trees, that's a perfectly a great opportunity to enjoy a good tree hug. But here Dee is going to use the strap. She's going to hold on nice and strong, and that's going to help keep her body weight forward as she sits down into our bottom squat. So you might not be able to create a bottom squat without an assist, but with an assist like this, you might take enough load out of your squat and enough angle or allow yourself to put yourself into enough angle to sit in your squat without falling backwards. So if your tendency is to fall backwards due to a lack of range, using a strap and holding onto something in front of you might well assist that. Alternatively, you could also turn away from that tree and reach one hand back to it and just create a support against that tree to push yourself forward into your deeper squat. So here she's just reaching back, holding herself against an object, and that is helping to, again, keep her center of mass forward so that her balance is in between her stance and not falling backwards behind her stance. So the next thing we'll show, this will also help in a similar way, is grabbing a couple of blocks. So here we have a 2x4 to start. You put just your heels on the 2x4, and this is going to give you a little bit more range to sit down. Go ahead and sit down into your squat because it won't require so much of your ankles. So if your ankles want to come up, if your heels want to come up and your ankles are really stiff and don't have much functional range, then by putting your feet or your heels up on the block, it will take away that challenge and allow you to sit down much deeper into your fuller squat. So again, you might not have a full squat with flat feet, but you might well have a much fuller squat with blocked feet. If you get deep and strong on that, you can always change the level. Here we're using a 1x, so not nearly as much assist for these squats. Other things you might use would be a rolled up towel or a rolled up mat, putting a sweatshirt underneath there. There's lots of other ways you can create a little bit of wedge underneath your heel. The goal, though, is to remove the wedge. Ultimately, we want to get out of needing that and increasing our range in our hips and our ankles to allow a nice, full, deep squat. That is ultimately what we're working towards. It may take a long time to get there, and it may not get there in 30 days, but that's what we're looking to find when we're working on our squat range. Very nice, Dee.